Release these goddamn body cam footage to these families and to the nation. We need answers. I'm really pissed off. I'm really pissed off about what is happening in Uvalde right now.
The fathers and the mothers of these victims deserve so much right now. They deserve answers, real, hard answers about what happened that awful day at Robb Elementary and what could have been done differently to save their children. But there are some people who apparently don't want those parents to have those answers. Some of those people are Uvalde Police and the city officials. The city and police department have reportedly hired a private law firm to fight in court so they won't have to release body camera footage and other records related to the shooting.
These are families of 19 young children and 2 teachers, 2 adults, who are not getting any justice, and now they're getting no transparency. Why? Because the Texas Department of Public Safety is trying to block the release of information and body cam footage to these people. So let me tell you about body cam footage. It is the bane of my existence, okay? Because video evidence is the best evidence in my world, right? I represent officers, I represent civilians, and whenever the video is bad for the civilian, it's incriminating, they're really quick to produce it. But if the video is exculpatory to the civilian, or if it's bad for the police department and the city, they will not give it up. And this is what's happening in Uvalde. And it takes this kind of tragedy of this magnitude to enact some change. We don't just need gun reform. Of course we do. We don't just need a better school safety protocol, but we also need some changes to a state's ability to prevent the release of body cam and information related to fatality like this by using these really vast, expansive, and subjective loopholes in the law. And it's a case-by-case basis. It's a state-by-state determination. There's a set of laws in each state that dictate when to block the release, and it's more often than not blocked, okay? And that's a problem, and we need that to change. Let me just talk to you about this. Right now, the Texas Attorney General's office is reviewing the information to see whether any part of the footage can be released. Now, Uvalde's hired an outside law firm to argue that it's embarrassing. No Sherlock, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and it's going to show the weaknesses of police response so that future criminals know how to get around it. Well, that ship has kind of sailed, okay? These officers were standing outside for over a hour doing nothing. What they were doing was they were zip tying and arresting parents who wanted to go and save their children's lives. So not only they didn't do their job in protecting public safety, they were cowardly and they were protecting their own ass because they were too scared to go in, but they weren't letting parents to go in and save their kids. That is what is so criminal about all of this, okay? And they are absolutely, the minimum due to them is to be able to see the truth, because what has happened ever since this tragedy a few weeks ago is that there's been nothing but obfuscation. You know, the story has changed over and over and over again. There's been a lot of this going on, right? We don't know the truth. We deserve to know the truth. The families deserve to know the truth, and the nation deserves to know what happened in Uvalde outside of Robb Elementary School a couple weeks ago. Okay, so the more you lie, the more you try to cover up, the more it should give rise to the interest of these families and the nation in seeing this footage. You should not be able to then also block the release of body cam footage. And so the idea that this is embarrassing, that it could potentially show other criminals how to go around police response, well, that ship has sailed, bro, okay? That is not a valid argument, because we already know you did nothing. It just looks horrible, and it is embarrassing. Now, the argument that there are ongoing open investigations by the state and the feds is a more viable argument. I hate to say it in this context, because you want to protect the integrity of the evidence until that investigation or those investigations are over, right? But then again, there should be a balancing test. There's been such grave misconduct here. There's been such grave failures and omissions that they should supersede and outweigh any interest that Texas has in withholding this information. And so it is absolutely infuriating. And, you know, to the taxpayers in Texas, you know, you pay for this shit, right? You've paid for this technology of body cams. You pay for the police. You pay for the lawyers who defend the police when they go wrong. You pay for lawyers to prevent the release of this information, just like we see it's happening. You pay for the investigation and litigation that is ensued, and you pay for the settlements and damages. So you deserve to see the goods. You deserve to see the goods, especially because Uvalde has been lying. Uvalde has been engaged in a major cover-up. We don't know what happened. We don't know who was supposed to be where doing what that failed to do so. Everyone's going like this, okay? And the more you have this, the more you need the body cam. What is the purpose of having body cam if it's only released when it's good for the police? What is the purpose of having body cam if it's not released when there's a blatant cover-up like in this case? What is the purpose of having body cam if even in the case of the most disturbing massacre, it won't be released so we can have answers and get to the goddamn truth? What is the purpose of having body cam? It came about as a technology that came about to allow us to see in the moment how police responded, how criminals committed a crime, right? It is for us to be able to be there and see it and not have to rely on accounts by different parties, right? So what is the purpose of having this if now every state gets to create its own subjective, extensive loopholes and get around releasing it? Not to mention that in my world, half the time the officers keep the shit off so they can say, oh, it didn't record anything. Sorry. Oops, I had it on, but it wasn't on. What is the purpose of having body cam if you're not going to turn the goddamn thing on and then release it when it's necessary, when so many people have died because of what the police did not do? I am pissed off. Okay, there needs to be justice for these families, and we know there's immunity and there's limited, slim to none justice. So let them at least get to the truth. Let them get to the truth, right? You got to wonder if anyone has been able to get body cam, given these vast loopholes that, a video of use of deadly force by an officer, the investigation officer, cannot be released to the public until all criminal and administrative processes have been completed. Well, that could be the end of time. And that comes from Texas law. That comes from Texas law around body cams. I mean, look at how broad that is. That means almost in no instance you can get body cam. So it is terrible what's happening, and there's a laundry list of subjective reasons that the state uses to withhold the release of the body cam footage. And too many departments are so quick to release it when it proves an officer's use of force was justified, when it proves that your client, my client, has committed a crime, but they are not willing to produce it when families need justice. They're not willing to produce it when officers have failed their duties in the most grave way, okay? Release these goddamn body cam footage to these families and to the nation. We need answers.